Kylian Mbappe. A player which 6 years ago we all saw as the next up-and-coming talent to take football apart. With Ronaldo and Messi nearing the end of their era, it all looked set up from the World Cup back in 2018, where Mbappe will take complete control of the world and is a sure thing to win the Ballon d'Or within the next few years, if that. However, things are looking a bit different. Mbappe has been critiqued many times for his personality and you may say ego, something similar to what you hear with the likes of a Cristiano Ronaldo and the critiques that you hear from him, and sometimes that can be warranted, and having a bit of ego is absolutely necessary for a footballer, not only for their personality and their brand, however, to take them to that next level. However, a question has been asked of Mbappe of, is that ego being used correctly? And why is he now struggling to really take that next step? Comment down below your thoughts on Mbappe, and do you think he'll reach the levels that we expected of him? Because he has in some ways, but it is fair to say you do expect a bit more. So comment down below, like, subscribe, and Merzola Designs for the best football prints. Christmas is on the way, so use code Xmas for 15% off all items over 800 prints to put your most famous moments on your wall. Link down below. And let's get into it. The reason why I'm doing this is because as of now, of the recent international break, he was not called up yet again for the French international team. The manager Didier Deschamps said no to Mbappe, not for the first time. And there's been an ever-growing strain between Mbappe and the national team with Didier Deschamps for quite some time, after the really poor performances in the last European Championships, with the previous European Championships being Mbappe to miss that final penalty to take them out of the tournament. And most shockingly, he was even booed by his own fans back in September, which is almost impossible to think. This is the golden child, not even just the golden child of French football, but could be the golden child of the next generation. Why is Mbappe struggling so much, not only with France, but also at Real Madrid? He's not doing particularly awful at Real Madrid, but you do expect a bit better. Not scoring any goals in the league for the first couple of games, in the El Clasico, in his first El Clasico, being completely irrelevant in that game and losing 4-0. I guess it's not his fault they conceded 4 goals, but they've not been the same team, Real Madrid, and you can really put a lot of that down to the involvement of Mbappe to accommodate him, to change in the system, which may make them worse. Real Madrid and Barcelona are kind of set in their own personalities, where Lionel Messi and Ronaldo were perfectly just set for those football clubs. Real Madrid is based on the Galacticos, more obsessed with superstars, with big names for big moments, relying really more on moments of magic from their superstars, where Barcelona, a philosophy based on bringing through young players, focusing on possession, and be reliant on the full collective of a team. Ronaldo and Messi were perfectly just made for that type of philosophy of one style of football against the other. That's why when you bring the idea of Mbappe to a Real Madrid, it made the most sense. He is the definition of a Galactico to me, with the ego that he has and with the undeniable quality. You would feel like it is a match made in heaven. I did a video mentioning this a few weeks ago about Mbappe at Real Madrid and kind of what's going wrong here. And of course, it's not been a great time for Real Madrid because of the Ballon d'Or, Vinicius Jr. with the loss 4-0 to Barcelona, and the general feel that they're not going in the right direction. However, at the end of the day, this is still Real Madrid, and they will probably still be completely fine by the end of the year. However, I can't deny by saying that this is very concerning for Mbappe, who should be at this stage now fighting for Ballon d'Or. When Messi and Ronaldo are no longer in the picture now for Ballon d'Or, this should be now Mbappe's time. And it's reminding me a bit of a Neymar, where he could have gone to that next step, however maintained somewhat lesser standard football in Ligue 1, where he can play amazing football and he can score a ton of goals and win trophies in Ligue 1 and the French Cup. But no one really cares because you're not playing in Premier League or La Liga, and that's a simple fact of the matter. And the only way you can really get to the next level is by either winning the Champions League, winning the World Cup, and so on and so forth. My all-round issue with Mbappe is that I felt like he stayed at PSG for way too long. He really should have made that move to Real Madrid a year or two ago if it was more possible. I think the extra years at PSG, I know that it's his club, I know that he would have wanted to try to win the Champions League for them, but it became a mockery in terms of how much PSG bent over backwards to keep him, where it made this weird kind of feeling that this was really more about Mbappe's football club than it was PSG. And when there was the conversations of Messi, with Neymar, with Mbappe, I feel like that just was never going to work. And even to this day, there's the accusations that Mbappe basically kicked Neymar out of Paris almost. And you could possibly say the same thing maybe as well for Messi. But I feel like the fans themselves at PSG made their voice very much known on those two players as well. Keep this in mind. Back in September, Mbappe was booed by the French fans. There was critique for the playing style by Didier Deschamps. Think about that. Mbappe was booed by his own fans, by the French people. And he's a captain as well. This is a big problem for French football and for Mbappe himself. In terms of people don't care about the psychological element because they make a lot of money. So people typically don't want to hear about footballers having a hard time because, hey, they make a ton of money. Who cares about their feelings, right? You get paid a lot of money, play football. But I think it's not as simple as that sometimes. Going to Real Madrid, having the pressure being captain of France, and of course not performing in the best way, not having great tournaments. I mean, I think France was in a semi-final with not scoring a single goal in open play, which is genuinely psychotic to think that actually would have happened. But it did. Mbappe did miss out in the international break, and Didier Deschamps came out saying that he missed it due to he was not in the condition psychologically to play. And same thing has basically come this time around as well. As he is fit, he did play on the 9th of November before the international break. Also, it would not be right to not mention this part. In October in Sweden, there was also a report coming out involving Mbappe with an alleged case of very serious accusations being made, which he came out saying it's fake news. Nothing has come out since, but this did come out as well, and this could also play a factor in terms of where he's at right now. And this is, for me, what it's kind of come down to when it comes to the mental element here. And it has come out by Le Creep that he is going through some mental issues right now, and he's currently actively seeing specialists about this. I saw a comment on a forum here about Mbappe, and I kind of wanted to showcase this as well because I think it gives a perspective from just an everyday person about how they see the situation. And this is the following. Sadly, it seems that Mbappe has grown bigger than the actual football aspect of his job and is more attentive to the demands of celebrity, fame and image. It is hard to blame Mbappe entirely. He is still a young man, and other than winning the Champions League, he has essentially completed the video game that is football. The expectation is that he will still be into his late 30s like his predecessors, Messi and Ronaldo. But perhaps this is an unfair expectation. Perhaps the pressure on Mbappe and the way he copes with it is more in line with some of the Brazilian megastars. Decorated at a young age, but subsumed by the reputation and celebrity that they created for themselves by the time they reached a young adult age. And this is why I kind of see Mbappe in that kind of Neymar, Ronaldinho kind of image, where the power they get at such young age. It is almost unfair to expect a player to be at all in the same way as Messi or Ronaldo. Those two are completely like gods, and no one can ever be like them ever again. The expectation they will be putting up 50 goal plus seasons for 10, 15 years, we can't expect that by really anyone ever, in my opinion. Maybe one at one time of their timeline, not two. And I think that's an unfair part of it. However, with Mbappe, I feel like for me, the way that I see him, I think he stayed for PSG too long. It led to a way of him being in what he's used to in his environment and how people typically see him. I just wish that he went to Real Madrid earlier and that he could take that next step earlier, and I feel like he would be at a better place. And now he's having these problems with the French national team, being booed by his own fans. He will be fine in the end, but he will never be what I think we expect him to be. Will he win the Ballon d'Or at some stage? You would imagine that it must happen at some stage. It seems almost inevitable. But I got a weird feeling that it may not happen. And comment about your thoughts down below. See you next time.